book teaches that we're created as self-changing beings. We can change. The unfortunate thing with us is that we think that means we can change any old way, any old time we want. We think that because we can change, we do change. We think that because it's possible for us to change, it's inevitable for us to change. People think in general, that you can't not change, that you will change, that you must change, that you have to change, that it's something that has to happen to you. And that's because they're looking at only one side of themselves. They're not looking at a side of themselves that they don't see, that they can't see. We have to change in a definite direction. And that doesn't sit well with us. What do you mean we have to change in a definite direction? If I can change, then I should be able to change any way I want. Not just some definite direction. What's that about? I have to do what you tell me to do now. I have to do what life tells me to do. I have to do what something tells me to do. There's some secret pattern that I have to follow that I don't have any choice about. Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't like that. Well, that's too bad. One of the things we learn in life, there are a lot of things that we cannot like. In fact, we can pass our entire lifetime not liking one thing after another. As a matter of fact, we do. When you think about it, we pass our entire life not liking one thing or another. We have to have something out there change in order for us to be happy. We're committed to the idea that this isn't it. It's got to be different for me to be happy. We're like seeds, though. And see, the thing about being a seed is that you think, oh, what great potential a seed has. Really, it does have great potential in one way. But then in another way, it's incredibly limited. If you have an acorn, you're not going to be able to make a pansy or a tulip grow from it. You're going to get an oak tree, if you get anything at all. Not all seeds grow into something. But what about their great potential? Right? What about it? That's just why we call it potential, because it's not realized. And so with us, being like seeds, created as self-changing beings, we have this great potential, but it is limited. You can only grow in a certain direction, just like an acorn can only grow into an oak tree, or a marigold seed could only grow into a marigold, or a tomato seed can only grow into a tomato plant. We're self-developing organisms like a seed, but it's not as easy as that. And it's certainly not a given that we'll develop any more than it's a given that a seed will develop. I remember they opened up one of the tombs in Egypt of one of the pharaohs, and they found wheat in there. It was thousands of years old, and it was still viable. It could still be planted and grow. But it could only grow into wheat. It couldn't grow into a chestnut tree. It couldn't grow into an oak tree. It could only grow into wheat, and a specific kind of wheat. How can we put ourselves in the right condition to change? Even if we're planted in the soil of esoteric teaching, we need more. You take a seed. Let's just stay with the seed analogy. If you take a seed and you plant it in the soil, that's no guarantee it will grow. As a matter of fact, if you have ever planted anything, you know that you have to plant more than you want. So if you want one tomato plant, you have to plant a number of seeds, because there are all kinds of things that can happen. You could get a dud that just doesn't grow, or it can mold. It can get too much water and mold. It can get not enough water, get to a certain point and die. It could be planted too deeply and never make it to the light, to the surface. Even if it has the right soil and the right water, it still needs the light and air. And so we're like that. There are certain things that we need to develop. So we've got to learn how to get ourselves into the right condition in order to change. We weren't created simply to live in this life. Life doesn't develop us to the end of our possibilities. It doesn't develop us to the final stage of our possibilities. And one thoughtful look around you at life will tell you that that's true. That life in and of itself does not develop people into all that they could be. That there are very extraordinary people who are highly unusual in life, who have developed beyond what we consider an average man. The whole idea of an average man is it's average. It's like what life produces. And what does life really produce? Life produces a personality. Personality. It stops there. Nothing else happens. Life produces a personality. So once you have developed your personality, life is finished. Life doesn't have any more to offer you in and of itself. There is no more reason for your existence. That's it. And so we die. Some people die sooner than others, but we die. When you think about the people who have reached their first development, personality, They have life position. There's some position in life. They're electricians or carpenters or presidents or kings or artists or musicians or whatever they are. And they have success. They do what they do well enough. They know something. They've learned something. They know something. They can do something in life. You understand what I'm talking about? It's basically what the work calls a good householder. A good householder has to know something in life. He has to be able to do something in life. He can't just be riffraff. He can't just be a burden to other people. He can't just suck off the state like a welfare recipient. I'm not saying that it's wrong to be a welfare recipient. What I'm saying is you can't do this work if you can't be a good householder first. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the riffraff in life. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the criminals in life who populate the prisons, or the lame who populate the hospitals, or the clinics, or the wards. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's fine. That's okay with me. I'm just saying if you want to do this work, you've got to have more. You've got to be able to do something. You've got to know something. So people who make it, they reach this first development, personality. They get their life position, their success, their money, whatever. That moment they begin to die. In a sense, they've reached maximal entropy with life. There's no more interchange. There's nothing else is exchanging. There's nothing else going on. They've reached it. This is it. This is what I do now. The only thing to do is amass more of the same stuff, become bigger, fatter, spread out more, take up more resources. You're dying. When you get to that point, you're actually dying. Well, I'm spreading out. Well, yeah, you're spreading out, but you're just taking up more resources and you're not really giving anything else. You've reached maximal entropy. There's no real exchange anymore. They begin to die. And a lot of people don't make it that far. We've first got to learn something definite in life. And a lot of people think, well, I need to learn a trade. Well, good. That's something definite in life. That's fine. But the useless people, the burdensome people, the people who expect something for nothing, this work really isn't for them. If you expect something for nothing, you're in the wrong place. Because everything you get here, you will have to work for it. You will have to struggle for it. You will have to make effort for it. And it will be long, hard effort. And it'll have to be the right kind of effort. You can't just make any old effort. Oh, I want to be an oak tree. Oh, I wish I were an oak tree. Oh, I'm going to be an oak tree. No, you're not. Well, that's harsh. Why would you go and step on someone's dreams like that? Because this isn't life. This is the work. And the work is different from life. Very different from life. The people who are here have chosen to be here. The people who are on this path have chosen this path. And they did it with some consciousness. They did it with some awareness of what it was going to take. Now, I say some awareness because none of us know really what it's going to take. If we did, we'd have turned back ages ago. As a matter of fact, some of us look at how far we've come and we think, I did all this just to get here? This is it? This is all I've got? In fact, we were talking last night and Connie said something that really was important. She said, yeah, but you do all this and you don't change. I said, that's right. There is no immediate change for us. That's the real rub, because in life, we want instant gratification. I did this, now give me my reward. I did this, where's my plaque? I did this, where's my medal? Where's my ribbon? I did this, now tell me that I've succeeded. Now I've made the change. Now I'm different. It's not that way in this work, because this work deals with something that life doesn't know about. It's called reality. And the reality is that's not how this life is. That's not how it works here. Real change, the kind of change that we're talking about, the kind of change that's possible for you as a seed, as a self-changing being, that kind of change can only happen slowly, gradually. How long does it take to grow an oak tree? Just plant it and then it's there the next morning. Yeah, like Jack and the Beanstalk. It just isn't that way. That's a fairy tale. The truth, the reality of our life is it's going to take time and a lot of effort, and more time than you like, and more effort than you like. So the work is for good householders, responsible people who understand the difference between chaos and order. Well, that removes a huge percentage of people right there. Responsible people who understand the difference between chaos and order. Someone who understands the resistance between chaos and order doesn't say, well, why don't all the rich people just take their money and disperse it among the poor people so that everybody has the same amount? Well, because anyone who's ever rubbed two thoughts together knows that it will take about that long for the rich to be rich again and the poor to be poor again. That's how long it takes. It's just a matter of time, because life is consciousness. It's not, well, it just isn't fair. It wasn't given to me like it was given to so-and-so. This is why people who become millionaires and then lose it all become millionaires again. And then they lose it all and they become millionaires again. And they just keep on doing that. And then they end up finally getting it and going, oh, okay, well, I think I like being a millionaire more. So I think instead of becoming a millionaire again, I'll just become a billionaire. So they learn the trick and they just keep on doing that. But see, and then they start to die because that's more personality. That's more life position. That's more the success that life offers. But we're talking about something else. We're talking about developing something else, something more than that. Now, a lot of people think that they're good householders. But in a work sense, a good householder is a person who does what is necessary in life without believing in life. Does what's necessary in life without believing in life. What does that mean? We see certain things that have to be done. And a good householder is a person who does those things, no matter how he feels about them personally. Well, I don't want to do that. So it has to be done. But I don't want to do that. See, that's a good householder. A good householder is a person who does what he doesn't want to do because it needs to be done. Okay, well, let's look at the people. They finally realized what we've known for years, that people who are homeless choose to be homeless. They're out there on the street because they want their freedom. They don't want someone telling them what to do, telling them have to pay this bill or have to pay that bill, or they're going to turn off their lights, or they're going to turn off their water, or they're going to take their house away from them. Forget that. They're not going to tolerate that. So they live on the street and they push around shopping carts, and everything they have is in the shopping cart. Did they buy that shopping cart? No. Nobody's going to tell them they have to buy a shopping cart. And if you don't feel sorry for them and let them steal the shopping cart, you're a bad person. What is that? That's responsible? Excuse me, that's not. People like that cannot do this work. A good householder is a person who knows that certain things have to be done, and even though he doesn't want to do them, he does them. But in the work sense, we go a step further. In the work sense, you've got to do what's necessary, whether you like it or not, but not believe in life. Many people believe in life. They're good householders, but they believe in life. They believe that if they keep doing the good householder thing, life will get better. They will progress. You're probably already beginning to get the idea that you may fall into that category somewhere, where you believe that you're working for something in life. You're going to get a better position. You're going to get a better retirement. You're going to get something better in life. Then in the strictest work sense, you're not a good householder. So you got to work on getting to be a good householder, and this work can help you in that. The truth is that progress is possible, but only in ourselves, not in life. But people progress in life. I've progressed in life. That's true, but it's mostly accidental, isn't it? It's accidental. Can you become president of the United States? Well, yes, of course, anyone who is born in this country can become president of the United States. That's just a lie. And if you happen to like lies, then believe in it. But it's a lie. It is not true. Not anyone born in this country can become president. And not anyone born in this country will become president. Only certain people can and will. And if you don't like the reality of that, this work is not for you. Because that's a simple life reality. That's a simple accidental reality of life. That's a simple fact of life. The reality of this universe and your possibility is so far beyond that if you don't like that, if you're going to get stuck there, if you're going to swallow this gnat and get it stuck in your throat and choke to death on that, forget about the camel that the work is going to ask you to eat next, because you're not going to get that down. You're not going to be able to deal with that unless you make some serious changes. This is where self-observation starts. I've got to begin to separate from Parkinson what life has made in me. What life has made in me. All of this conceit, all of these biases, all of these opinions, all of these things, traits. I've got to learn how to separate from all of those things somehow. And we have to do this gradually, all the time and at intervals, until something separates from it. What is it? It is Parkinson. It is what life has made in me. It would be so nice if what life had made were over there sitting in that chair. Wouldn't that be great? If what life made of me was sitting over there in that chair, I could go over there and look at it. Comb its hair, fix its shirt, brush off its shoulders there. Oh, you got a little dust on your shoulder. You know, I could do something with that. But as it is, it's in me. And the difficult part of it being in me is it makes it really difficult to find out, well, what is me and what is it? My sense of self is so much in it that I don't know who I am. And so this is where self-observation begins, right at this point. We've got to start seeing it. And then, gradually, over time, this thing that separates from it is what can grow. It can't grow. It's reached maximal entropy. See, at my age, in my life, this is it, man. This is it. There's nothing else going to happen. But this could happen and that could happen. No. None of that matters. None of that matters to me. None of that matters to life. None of that matters. The only growth that's possible for me now is this esoteric growth, this second development. What else do I want? There's nothing in this world that I want. Well, what about an airplane? I don't want an airplane. What about a boat? I don't want a boat. What about a nicer car? I have the car that I want. Well, what about a house? Okay, I would like a smaller house. So yes, I would like a smaller house, not 3-story. That would be nice. But that'll come. But you see, that'll come with time. That really doesn't have anything to do with anything. That's not important. See, none of the things in life are important because I'm a good householder. I'm there. There's no place to go from here. Oh, you could become a millionaire. I'm already a millionaire. I don't want any more. I would like to downsize a little bit. And then of course, the people who don't belong in this work say, well, give it to me. People who want something for nothing. Right. Give it to you so that you can lose it. Oh, how could you say that? It's easy. I know how life works. Well, yeah, right. Some people just will not tolerate the truth. They will not tolerate it. We were talking the other day about the JFK assassination, and they proved beyond the shadow of a doubt that that was done by one man. They had the whole crime scene investigation thing on computer set up exactly how it was in 1963. Exactly how everything was. They've got the film of what actually happened. So they generated this computer setup with this film and with all the other facts that they had. And they put the whole thing together. Here's the line that the first bullet's not heard. The second bullet goes here. The third bullet goes here. This is how it worked. This is exactly what happened. Now today, you all watch CSI, I'm sure, at one kind or another. CSI Miami, New York, Las Vegas, Podunk, whatever, Peoria, Illinois, CSI, Peoria, Illinois, whatever one, I don't care what it is, but you watch one of them. The science. I mean, there are physical laws that it's just the way it is. This is the way things happen. This is what this says. This evidence proves this. And we accept the apparent reality of these things because we're sane beings. So here they have proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that someone in the 6th story book depository shot 3 bullets from that position from the rifle that they found there, that happened to belong to, and they have a picture of this guy, Lee Harvey Oswald, holding the rifle and happened to belong to him. Whether he did it or not, I don't know. But somebody up there shot 3 shots and killed the president and also shot Governor Connolly. And it did it with the same second bullet that shot the president, meaning the second bullet that was fired. The first one missed. The second one hit the president and then went through the president and hit this other guy who was sitting in the front seat. They got it right there. I mean, there it is. You watch the computer graphic and you go, oh. And I noticed that because in 1963, November 1963, I was playing football with some friends at a school playground. And I remember somebody coming by in a car and stopping and yelling down the hill, they just shot the president, or the president's just been shot. We were all freaked out because we all liked the president. Back then, it wasn't like now. There were people who really liked the presidents. They really thought the government was a great thing. They thought they were great people. It was only after that things really started to get bad. People started to get disillusioned. But before that, it wasn't like that. There were people who were always disillusioned. There were always malcontents. There were always people who didn't agree. But the majority of people were pretty happy with the way things were. They were pretty grateful to be alive. They were pretty grateful to be living in America. They were pretty happy to have jobs and money and color TVs and cars to drive around and gas to put in their cars. They were just pretty happy people. Honestly, it really was that way once upon a time. I mean, people didn't always walk around with black lipstick on and black hair and black clothes and black fingernail polish and spikes through their heads. And it wasn't always like that. People used to be kind of happy. They painted flowers on things. They were, it really was that way, honestly. And it just started to change and mold. The mold grew and the bacteria grew and it got uglier and uglier and smellier until it's like this. But even in this, there are still happy people. There's still people who are happy. Why? Why am I happy? Well, how can I know all this about life and still be happy? Well, because it's my nature to be happy. It's who I am. It's what I was meant to be. I was meant to be happy. I was created as a self-developing, changing organism that could find happiness in that change, that would be happy just in the process of changing. And so I am. Now, I have my little blips on the radar screen where I enjoy negative emotions more, but I'm pretty happy even doing that. Aren't you? Yeah. Think about where you're happiest. It's like, I'm happiest when I'm really enjoying a big feast, Thanksgiving feast or Christmas feast of negative emotions. What is Christmas and Thanksgiving? Holidays. Feasts of negative emotions. Oh, we hate that. You ought to see your faces. You hate that. Yes, but it's the truth. Why is it that more people commit suicide this time of year than any other time? Because it's a feast of negative emotions. Life didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. You know the statistics on this? Here's the crime statistics. The poor commit murder. Homicide is the crime, the big leading thing among the poor. But you know what it is among the affluent? Suicide. Oh, my 3-minute egg just didn't come out right. I'm going to end it all. Oh, my Lexus won't start this morning. That's it. I'm getting into my Mercedes and putting a pipe from the tailpipe into the car, and I'm going to just end it all. Okay. All right. Well, you go, baby. That's good for you. Think about it, people. Think about it. We're nuts. We're crazy machines, crazy broken machines. Well, no, we're not. Okay. You just keep believing that. Which brings me right back to my point about the JFK assassination. There are people who cannot, will not, absolutely will not believe that it was not a conspiracy. I have proof. Who proved it? That movie guy, Stone. Yeah, Oliver Stone. He proved it, right. You can prove anything with film. How tall was King Kong? King Kong was 36 inches tall. That's the fact of that. He was 36 inches tall. But how could he climb the Empire State Building and fight with airplanes? And it's a movie, you idiot. You can prove anything in a movie. But it was a documentary. I don't care. It's film. You can do anything with it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about reality. We're talking about what's so. But you see, people want to believe life can't be that random. It can't be that accidental. It can't be that harsh. Well, it is. It is. The law of accident is where we live. That's what the law that we live under until we can begin to become more conscious. Was it John Kennedy's destiny, his fate, to be shot like that? Yes. There's no question about it in my mind. No question. He's doing it again right now, somewhere in time. I'll let you deal with that however you want to deal with that. So here we are. We won't believe the truth. And it takes a lot of courage to get to the place where you're willing to look at it sitting over there in the chair and tell the truth about it. It takes a tremendous amount of courage, and that courage can only come from real self-observation and from not identifying with what you see over there in it. And remember, it still isn't over there in that chair, so stop looking over there in the chair. It's actually in here. It's actually in here, which makes it more difficult to separate from. But eventually, if you will continually observe without identifying, you will begin to separate, and that something that separates from it, that something is what can grow. Then we no longer regard ourselves as ourselves. We regard ourselves, then we begin to see it, what is not us, what life has built up in us. Well, what about ourselves? Do we see ourselves? Well, not really. But we have separated so that we can see it. Well, what is it that sees it? I don't know the answer to that. And the people who do, that's their applause, good for them. But I don't. And I don't know anyone else who does. And I know a lot of people. Now, I know some things about it, but I don't know it. But I don't know it either. That's why we're in this condition that we're in, because we don't know it, the false personality. And because we don't know it, we can't do anything with it. So we slowly, gradually shift our feeling of ourself. And as we do, by observing it, by noticing it, but not by working against it, not by going against it. So we don't fight with it. It won't work to fight with it. It's more powerful than you. You can't fight with it, but you can observe it. And if you will observe it enough over time, and as I said, Connie said, well, what's the point? We don't change. No, we don't change instantly. It takes a long time. But if you will persist, if you will keep at it, eventually, the light that you let in, the ray of light that you let in, the ray of consciousness, the light that comes in by you being conscious of it as you separate from it, that will begin to change you. the part that separates from it that can grow. That will begin to change. That will become stronger. That will begin to grow. Your sense of self will begin to shift into that, away from it, into that. That's what this work is about. That's where we're headed. That's what we're doing. And we need reminders from time to time about what this work is about. Well, why are we doing this? It's such a long journey. And there's so little progress that's apparent right now, that we need to be reminded from time to time. You can't change yourself directly. You can only alter by certain kinds of effort. A lot of people find this shocking, as if they could do as they pleased. I can do anything if I put my mind to it. Yeah, right. Well, that's what they told me in school. That's what my mother told me. Well, that's great, but it's just not the truth. You can't do anything if you put your mind to it. Well, yes, I can. Fine. I'd like you now to fly over to that hill and fly back. Just flap your ears. Well, couldn't I flap my gums? It'd be a lot easier. Yeah, okay, fine. Flap anything you want. Fly over, fly back. But you see, put your mind to it. It won't work because it's not possible. Not in our apparent reality. Now, in some other reality, it may be possible, but we're not in some other reality. This is our apparent reality. And this is the one in which we believe. And so this is the one with which we have to deal. Things may go on, as they always have, for a long, long time. But we notice them. We're not asleep to them anymore. If we've observed often, continually at intervals, those things slowly begin to alter. The light of consciousness very slowly brings about change. The great effort is not identifying with yourself. The hard part is not seeing it. The hard part is not identifying with it. Not jumping on it and saying, well, I did this, I feel this, I think this. The hard part is actually getting separated from it so that you can get it over there in the chair where you can look at it. Now, it's not hard for you to do that with me, with it. About me, you can put it over there in the chair anytime you want. In fact, your hard part is ever seeing anything besides it when you look at me. And then, of course, your hard part is not judging it when you look at it. But that's good practice, too, because that will work for you. The great effort in self-remembering is not identifying. Living more consciously toward yourself and others and this work increases consciousness. Things alter by your becoming more conscious. This is a simple formula, and this is how it works. The light of consciousness will slowly, very slowly, bring about change. If you can notice without criticizing, you will gradually separate from the things that this life is built, that you call you, your personality. To observe oneself and criticize oneself at the same time is useless. Total waste of time. How much time have you been wasting? Can you say too much? Too much. To what does one alter into? What do you get to be? What do you get after all this work? We've all got something that we can become if we practice this work. Something that we're destined to be. Just like a seed. It's this kind of seed or that kind of seed. Well, how do you know what it's going to be? Well, if you lost the envelope that the seed came in, you plant it and you grow it. And then you see what it grows into. If we observe, notice, without identifying, we'll begin to alter into what we were created to be. One thing I can tell you, it will not be what you are in personality. Oh, thank heaven. Those of us who have observed ourselves for a while, we could fall on our faces at that moment and say, there is a higher being. Oh, thank God. I won't be that, because we have observed enough of that to get pretty sick of it. Well, we're not sick of all of it, but the stuff that we've observed over and over again, we're just sick of. I don't want to be that person anymore. In fact, the only way we can continue to be that person is continue the buffers. The only way we can continue to be that person is to have buffers so that we can't see the contradictions. That's what keeps us going. A seed alters into what it was created to change into, to transform itself into. And so it is with us. And this is what this work teaches. Every once in a while, like I said, we need to be reminded what this work teaches. Why we're doing this. Why you are putting yourself through this, and you are putting yourself through it. I'm not putting you through it. You're either doing this or you're not doing this. If you're doing it when I'm not around. If you're not doing it when I'm not around, you're not doing it. Then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those of you who are doing it when I'm not around. If you ever wonder why you're doing it, it's so that you can be all that you were created to be, so that you can develop into what you were meant to develop into, what you were destined to develop into.
You are the truth.